On today's video, we have the world-famous Blu-ray haul returning with the July to September 2025 haul.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and we have one of the most eclectic random Blu-ray hauls of all time with the July-September Q3 Blu-ray haul on the channel. There is a lot of cool stuff in here, and we gotta get to it, because I've already filmed the video and it's already too long, so let's get the intro short. Enjoy the video? Yes, hit like button, please. Subscribe, notification bell, you get informed about new videos. Let's get to it. There is the Blu-ray haul back again. So as always, we're starting with Blu-rays that already have their own videos. Combinator X and Super Rescue Soul Brain I reviewed in the July Discotek releases video. Took a look at both of those in detail. Reviewed the Ultraman Decker series and movie collection in its own standalone video. Looked at the updated version of the disastrous Ben 10 DVD, which while it now has all the episodes, has several other problems. Go check that video out for a full deep dive. And I've already looked at the October Discotek releases of Cyborg 009 vs. Devilman, Mega Man, Kamen Rider Amazon, and Darkstalkers the animated series, because my media OCD order showed up in September, so it qualifies for this quarter's haul, even though these don't actually come out till the end of October officially. So let's start the haul proper with some classic cartoons, because why the heck not? So first up, we have the Johnny Quest movies. This is Johnny's Golden Quest and Johnny Quest versus the Cyber Insects. These were done, when were these done? I forget. I think these were 1993 and 1995, yeah. So these were done in the 90s. They are supposed to be, I believe, kind of classic Johnny Quest, not the 90s Johnny Quest was the New Adventures. Trying to remember. I'm not super up on my Johnny Quest knowledge. My mom is a big Johnny Quest fan, and so we have the series, and so these are the movies to go with it, so there's that. We've got Touche Turtle and Dum Dum, which actually was a very recent release. It was like the last thing I got in September. And this thing is pretty cool. It's got all the episodes of the show, which is nice because we've been getting a lot of these Hanna-Barbera Blu-rays as of late, which is super cool, and they're doing more of them, which I think is awesome. Still waiting on some. There's some that haven't made it to Blu-ray yet, but they've been really knocking them out. They've been really doing a good job, and this is no different. Warner Archive team, super awesome. Let's see, Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2. This came out a while ago. This movie leaked like a year before it actually released, which was crazy. This one, I just kind of waited, and then I think it was $5 on Amazon, and I was like, yep, that's the time to buy it. I watched it when it hit HBO Max. It was all right. I don't think it was amazing, but there's this really great gag with Velma and her glasses with Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane, and the movie's honestly worth it for that. It also has this crazy multiverse segment, and they have a shot from the Legion of Superheroes cartoon that I love and adore, so that was pretty cool. It also has 3 episodes of, I think, Guess Who Scooby-Doo, one of the shows, because they had Wonder Woman, Batman, and The Flash in those 3 episodes. So those are included as a bonus, which I think is pretty nice. But yeah, it's kind of neat. There's a lot of Scooby-Doo and DC crossovers. This is like the 3rd one, I think, technically. But yeah, now it goes into the DC collection. We've been talking about Hanna-Barbera cartoons getting Blu-rays, but I kind of feel like Addams Family's not in that camp, because for example, the Addams Family episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies wasn't included in the Blu-ray. That's why it's the almost complete collection. I don't know where the licensing sits with this, right? I don't know where Warner Brothers sits with ownership of the Addams Family cartoon, so I don't know if it would get a Blu-ray. What's crazy, though, is that this DVD set, which I believe was a Warner Archive, I think it says it's Warner Regular, but the discs, they say DVD download. I think these are DVDs. I think they got a Warner Archive reissue on this. It comes in and out of stock from time to time. It finally showed up for like $13, and I was like, cool, because that was a gap in the Addams Family collection. Haven't watched it yet, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know where this sits. Like, is this a potential for a Blu-ray like Touche Turtle, or is it locked out because of the licensing? No idea, but at least I got it for now. And then this set, which went on sale for Prime Day in the summer, because Amazon does those like twice a year now, sometimes 3. Anyways, the Prime Day of the summer was the Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny 80th Anniversary Collection, which was kind of like this big box set. There was 30,000 made. This one's 22,423. This is basically, I've been trying to go back and get all the Looney Tunes Blu-rays because it doesn't seem like we're ever going to get like the perfect ideal, like, oh, here's your Looney Tunes chronologically, right? So we get all these weird collections instead. Beggars can't be choosers, so I just pick up all the volumes. I'm pretty close to having them all now. So this has a Diamond Collection Funko Pop of Bugs, which looks super shiny and glittery, which is kind of neat. It also contains what is this? This contains a certificate of authenticity. Is it a certificate or is it just like a congratulation note? It's not a certificate of authenticity, is it? That'd be crazy, considering this is just a Funko Pop and a Blu-ray. Okay, it's just a happy anniversary message. The Blu-ray side of this is a collection of Bugs Bunny shorts. It's a 80th anniversary collection. It has 60 remastered theatrical shorts, a new documentary, and some bonus Looney Tunes cartoons. So this is just more of what we want from Looney Tunes. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty nice that they're putting out all of these classic cartoons. Warner Archive team's doing great. So to kind of go alongside that, I got to go back and get some of these older releases while they're still available. Let's talk about movies, because we got a bunch from different places, and you can see there's a ton of 4K, because I'm at the point where I'm just like, if there's a 4K, I shall get a 4K. If I already have it on Blu-ray and it's a modern film, I'm not going to upgrade, but, it just depends how we go. So let's get to it. First of all, Prime Day deal, Alfred Hitchcock's Classic Collection of Volume 3, which currently is the last of these from Universal, because I think they kind of ran out of Hitchcock movies they own, but this contains the 1948 classic Rope. It also has 1956's The Man Who Knew Too Much, 1966 Torn Curtain, 1969 Topaz, 1972 Frenzy, which is pretty interesting. So it's a neat collection. The first collection they did was like a banger set. It was like Rear Window and Vertigo and The Birds and Psycho, and then this one's like, here's the lesser known ones, but it's still a nice set to add to the ongoing collection. All right, next up we have Ma and Pa Kettle Complete Comedy Collection. This was a DVD set that contains all of the Ma and Pa Kettle movies, so like all 9 of them, plus the Egg and I, which was the movie they debuted in. These are 2 characters that were really beloved, obviously by the fact that they got 10 movies. They were side characters in this movie called The Egg and I, which I found to be a huge mixed bag of a film. Go check my Letterboxd account. I wrote about The Egg and I. You can hear about it there. But the Ma and Pa Kettle, I've seen the first one, and I thought that it was great. I thought it was like really heartwarming comedy. Haven't watched the rest yet. We picked this up at Barnes & Noble, though, because it was like $10. It was just like there. My mom was like, oh, Ma and Pa Kettle. I was like, oh, let me watch that, because my whole goal this year was to watch more movies, which been doing well. But yeah, my Letterboxd account's linked in the description. If you want to hear me rant about The Egg and I wrote it out there, because I have thoughts. All right, so the Naked Gun trilogy, this was inspired by the new Naked Gun coming out, which I thought the new Naked Gun was great. Of course, we had the classic trilogy, nicely on 3 discs. Thank you, Paramount. This was a pretty good set. They did a 4K of the Naked Gun, but from what I heard, it's not that much of an upgrade. So, yeah, I'm just going to stick with this set for now. What's kind of an impressive set is Police Squad. So for those that don't know, because I think this is lost lore at this point, Naked Gun was actually a film adaptation of a TV series that failed called Police Squad. This was a show that lasted 6 episodes before being canceled, but it was basically, the whole idea is it is a spoof comedy of police procedural shows. And so they took that concept because it was pretty much like the Naked Gun, a ton of visual gags, a ton of inside humor, and it was like, it's something you have to kind of pay attention to understand and get all the jokes, and a lot of people didn't because it was TV, and people watch TV more casually than movies, at least back then. So basically that's ended up being how that happened. So then they rebooted the idea as a movie, and successful trilogy, and now the successful relaunch. So this is great. Watching this whole show is awesome. It's amazing. Love it. The best part about it is, in addition to the 6 episodes, you get commentary tracks on several of the episodes, and then you also get interviews and behind the scenes featurettes and gag reels and even some behind the scenes footage that was kept. It's amazing what was restored from a 6-episode TV show that was canceled, and it has a Blu-ray set because of its more famous movie readaptation. So pretty awesome. All right, The Running Man. So there's a new Running Man coming out that is seemingly closer to the original book, which Edgar Wright is directing, which I'm looking forward to seeing. It looks fun. I wanted to see the original first because I have not seen The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger, so picked up the 4K to prep for that. Haven't watched it yet, but I did check the disc. Nice 4K transfer. Everything I read about it's pretty solid. Paramount, honestly, for as much crap as I give them, and I will continue to give them as a company, for the current time, who knows what happens post-merger, but their home video department's usually pretty solid. So, yeah, pretty solid there. Ooh, Sunset Boulevard 4K edition, 75th anniversary. This is an incredible movie. It's iconic. It's one of those classic things where like, oh, here's a movie about making movies. But it's also just like this great thriller, and the whole movie, which minor spoiler, but it might get people to watch it. The movie starts with a character who's dead narrating and saying, oh, now I'll tell you the story of how I died, and that is kind of like a bonkers way to start a movie. And so it's incredible. If you've never seen it and you're a film fan, absolutely need to see it. It's such an iconic piece of cinema. And then it has a ton of bonus features, which I believe a lot of these came from the Blu-ray. There's a bunch. It's on the Blu-ray disc. But the 4K transfer, absolutely stunning, absolutely amazing. Highly recommended. There's a ton of bonus features on here. Like, it got to the point where there's so many, I was like, wow, I didn't expect this many to be included. But highly recommended release of an iconic film. All right, To Catch a Thief. This is an Alfred Hitchcock film. Cary Grant, Grace Kelly. This was an iconic movie. This was one of my mom's favorites. We actually have the... it's funny, this is the Paramount Presents 4K release, which Paramount Presents releases, compared to just a Paramount 4K, is they get the fancy packaging, where you get the original poster art on the inside there. Don't own too many of these. I'm actually surprised that Sunset Boulevard wasn't on a Paramount Presents, but then I don't remember. Are Paramount Presents always Amazon exclusive, or was that just for Better Man? It's kind of funny because I think that, like, this is kind of iconic, but then the Paramount Presents have a little bit higher price. Maybe they were like, oh, we can sell more copies of this. I don't know. Just kind of feels like this fancier presentation should have also gone to Sunset Boulevard. And they had released this on Blu-ray as part of Paramount Presents, which is why it's Spine number 3. So, pretty solid. Ooh, Warner Brothers. Ooh, I have a bone to pick. All right, so we got Superman, which I loved. I loved this movie. I've seen it multiple times at this point. Let's talk about this packaging first before I complain about the disc. Okay, so first of all, beautiful steelbook. Absolutely beautiful. So you got like the Fortress of Solitude entrance, you got like the crystal look, but then this is a slipcover. So as you pull the slipcover off, it's the Fortress of Solitude opening. You see Superman and Krypto down there. That's brilliant. That is brilliant because it completely changes the look of the cover with the slipcover, and I think that's absolutely amazing. Also, what's cool is the Superman logo is glow in the dark, so it will glow, and it glows pretty good. I don't think if I turn the lights off you can see the glow, but let's try it. Yeah, actually you kind of can. You can kind of see the glow. And that's only just being under my super bright lights for a couple minutes here. Really, really cool. And then once you get to the inside, nice matte steelbook, my favorite style. I don't like the glossy ones. And then inside, there's Superman walking into the fortress. We've got Superman on 4K, and we've got Superman on Blu-ray as well. This release is nearly perfect. Nearly perfect. For a modern film, it's hard to get bonus features, right? But what we got here is we got an hour-long bonus feature called The Adventures in the Making of Superman, where it goes into a lot of things with James Gunn, talking about making the movie, and a lot about David Cornsweet. It's mostly like the James Gunn, David Cornsweet feature. And it features some really raw, honest accounts of filmmaking. It's one of my favorite bonus features that I've seen on a film, on a modern film, in a long, long time, because a lot of times modern film bonus features, which I know I get why they do this, it's studios, like this and all that, they feel like fluff pieces. They feel like, oh, everything went perfect. Our movie was amazing. Nothing went wrong. Whereas, like, this one is like, here's the time James Gunn and David Cornsweet didn't agree and had to hash it out. And, had very different opinions on how a scene should go, and eventually coming to what was the right conclusion, so that way they could make the scene the best it could be. That is the art of filmmaking. It is a messy, messy, messy process, and I don't like bonus features that sanitize everything because it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like, every movie has issues. It doesn't matter how good it goes. Every movie is going to have a problem with something at some point, and this bonus feature doesn't hide away from that, and I really like that. And if that's going to be a new standard with James Gunn in charge of DC, I'm very, very excited for the bonus features in the future. There's also a bunch of other features. They have like one for Lex Luthor, one for the Justice Gang, one for the Daily Planet crew. There's some really cool stuff. Now, the unfortunate part is that there's 3 bonus features locked to digital versions. The gag reel and the deleted scenes are only on the digital code, which means the digital code you have here, or if you buy it, that's where you get those. They're not on the disc. Now, I will say, gag reel, whatever, gag reel. The deleted scenes are so short, I think it's like a minute tops. And I honestly would think that it sounds like Gunn had this movie like really dialed in from the beginning, so you're not really missing anything in deleted scenes. Now, the unfortunate part is the audio commentary with James Gunn is digital only, but it's not available on most digital platforms. And I haven't been able to actually access it. From what I understand, you have to have it through iTunes, which, with the Movies Anywhere, you can link your iTunes account. But then you have to play it through an Apple TV device because I can't play it through my phone even. Why is the commentary over there? Apparently this is due to a contract that Warner Brothers and Apple TV have, and this is like the case for several movies. But like, it sucks because I would really like to listen to that commentary, but it's completely inaccessible to me without buying a specific piece of hardware. And that sucks. And James Gunn didn't seem aware of this because he said, oh yeah, the commentary is going to be on the digital code. Well, it isn't on most platforms. So if anyone from DC is out there listening, get us that commentary, like figure it out, because I would really like to hear the commentary track, and it sucks that it's not on the discs themselves. Also, future video idea. Bonus features only on the digital code, not on the physical disc, because that's happened a few times. Sucks it happened to this one. All right, we got another Warner Brothers 4K Steelbook with Corpse Bride. So I had not seen this movie in the better part of 20 years, because it's been 20 years since this movie came out. So this was a pretty clever movie. This is a stop-motion animated film produced by Tim Burton, co-directed by Tim Burton, I believe. By the way, gorgeous steelbook here, where you've got the closed eyes and the butterfly look, and then it pulls off, and then there's her eyes open. This is, it's kind of done in the stop-motion style. It's very much matching kind of Tim Burton's artwork. Very clever movie. And it picked up the 4K here. It is a new 4K transfer. They did actually do some new bonus features. There's I think three. There's 3 new bonus features that are done, nowadays, and I'm looking back on it with the people that made the film, and then it's got all the legacy bonus features from the DVD. So that's pretty awesome. Honestly, yeah, if you like the film, definitely worth picking up. All right, more 4Ks. This is an older release. North by Northwest. Been kind of building out a Hitchcock collection. My mom and I have actually made a list. We're like, here's all the Hitchcock movies we want to watch. We want to watch them like in order, so we can like see the evolution of Hitchcock as a director. So yeah, just another one of those, like a nice upgrade to an iconic movie. We've got Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is the one starring Charles Laughton and Maureen O'Hara. This one's interesting. So I did a whole write-up on this in my Letterboxd as well, but I'm a huge fan of the silent film, the Universal silent Hunchback of Notre Dame. Absolutely adore that movie. One of my favorite films. And so I haven't really looked at the other Hunchbacks as much. And specifically this one, I think I saw it maybe a while back, like as a kid on Turner Classic Movies. But I hadn't watched it in a long time. And I watched it just recently because it's spooky season and it kind of fits the vibe. Very interesting because this movie does sort of makes some changes. The original book is very dark. It has a very tragic ending, and the silent film sort of matches the tragic ending, but not exact to the book. Whereas this one, I feel like it kind of makes everything a little bit more palatable to a general audience. It's not so tragic. It's not so depressing as the silent film. But also, if you're a fan of the Disney animated musical version of Hunchback of Notre Dame, you should really check this movie out, because as I was watching it, I was like, outside of the singing gargoyles, all the DNA of the Disney one is inside this version of Hunchback. Like it's all there. Even look at Quasimodo's look, even, right? A lot of the DNA of the Disney version is in the Victor Hugo version. The other interesting part too is that between the 3, they changed Frollo's character a bit in the silent film to sort of get around the fact that like the church didn't want films to portray clergymen as the villain. This movie cuts Frollo and completely changes it to a completely different character because they legally weren't allowed to. And then the Disney one keeps Frollo as part of the church and all that stuff. So honestly, it's kind of wild because I think Frollo is more accurate in the Disney version than the previous two movies. So anyways, the point being, if you watch all three of the major Hunchback Notre Dame adaptations, you get kind of a complete picture version of the book between all three of them, which is cool. So speaking of adapting books, here's Spawn. This is a new Arrow Video 4K release of Spawn. This is not, this is what I love about Arrow Video. This is not a movie that's like loved and revered as like the greatest film of all time. And Arrow Video's like, yeah, we're getting the full 4K treatment. You get the director's cut, the theatrical cut. The director's cut, I think, is better. I've never actually seen the director's. I've only seen the theatrical. This is an Arrow Video limited edition, but it's not one of their big fancy ones. It's just like, here's a slipcover. You got a nice shot there. And then it does come with your good paper goods inside. So we got 4K on both. There is bonus features included. If you want to see what the bonus features are, they're mostly on the director's cut disc. And then we also got, of course, our physical bonus stuff. We've got our booklet, which you can see has some nice stills from the movie. The poster, the interesting part is that these are both existing posters. It's not like, I don't think this is a new poster. I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before. I do know this is like the poster from the director's cut DVD, because that's like the one you see. It's funny, it's a low scale Arrow Video limited edition, but it's still miles better than most of the big studio releases. So, nice job, Arrow. All right, speaking of smaller labels, Kino Lorber's Spaceballs totally got this because of the announcement of Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money. This movie is iconic. It's an iconic spoof film. Mel Brooks just really had it all locked in here. If you're a fan of sci-fi, it'll make jokes about everything. You also get all these bonus features included here. It's an iconic film. Great release. Love Kino stuff. Speaking of Kino stuff, The Monster Squad. You think I would have seen this movie, considering I'm the guy that dedicated an entire month of videos to the classic monsters, but this movie I'd never seen until recently when I got the 4K on sale, and I was like, let's do it. Let's watch Monster Squad. This is one of the most unabashed 80s films of all time. It is insane how it's every single 80s movie trope. Like, there's a group of kids, and they're the only ones that can save the town, and there's a bunch of monsters, and there's, like, a bunch of really homophobic jokes, like, thrown at you within 5 minutes. You get every homophobic slur in the book. Kind of astounding how very 80s this movie is. But I think it's fun. I enjoyed it. A documentary, so you can see that it's actually, the Monster Squad here is on the 4K disc, and then Wolfman's Got Nards is the documentary that's on the Blu-ray disc, which is fun because that's actually a line in the movie. There's like a really great thing with the Frankenstein's monster and the little girl like form a friendship, which is like a complete opposite of what Frankenstein monsters usually do to little girls. They usually get thrown in rivers. So I like that. The Wolfman in this is like indestructible. It's so cool. The creature effects are amazing, like especially for the creature of the Black Lagoon guy. Awesome. And really great. Duncan Regehr's Dracula is also just terrifying. This is the most 80s movie imaginable. All right, continuing the 4K upgrade train, the Daniel Craig 5-film collection. So this was on sale for Prime Day in the summer, and I picked this up because they had announced and released the Sean Connery Bond 4K, which I did finally order because I did want to get it. Ultimately decided, I was like, yeah, I should get the Connery Bond 4K set, but I had a problem with the fact that Amazon only discounted it 5% off of its list price. Like, guys, we know the game here. You discount it, you start at 20% off list price, and you go lower. You don't start at 5 and stick at 5 months after release. But anyways, I got my Connery set ordered because Fall Prime Day dropped it down to $80. So very happy about that. Still hoping to see the rest of the Bond movies in 4K. But I did pick up the Daniel Craig set because I did have Spectre and No Time to Die on 4K already. Because I bought them when they came out. And the Steelbooks had 4Ks. I only had Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall on Blu-ray as part of the big Bond set. The same releases we got, right? Those are the same like disc designs, whereas they're reusing the Spectre and then the generic No Time to Die one. But then the 4Ks here were the new part, right? Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and then the No Time to Die is the same as the single. I did watch Casino Royale because I recently, thanks to the new Bond game, First Light, it's based on the novels and stuff, and I was like, I should read the Bond novels. And a friend gifted me Casino Royale, and I read it, and I read through that book like crazy. I really enjoyed it. So I went and watched the previous Casino Royales, which was there was a TV movie that was part of a series called Charade, where each episode was a different adaptation. That was the first adaptation of James Bond, where he was Jimmy Bond, an American, which was weird, but it actually was honestly on point to the middle third of the book. Then there was the Peter Sellers Casino Royale spoof parody, which I did not enjoy. I'd seen it like a long time ago, and I didn't enjoy it, and I watched it again and did not enjoy it. This movie is directed by 5 different directors, and it's all over the place. Yeah, but this was like the only adaptation of Casino Royale for a while, and Eon Productions, who does literally all the other Bond movies, didn't have the rights to Casino Royale until the 2000s, or until the 90s, and in the 2000s when they were starting with Daniel Craig, they thought, let's go back and adapt the first book. And it's a really faithful adaptation. It's amazing. They made some changes to the third act so that way it could end on an action scene instead of a depressing scene inside a hotel. But there's a ton of very on point, straight scenes from the book pulled into the movie. And then also it's given an hour prologue to set all the events up, because Casino Royale is like a 200-page book. It's really short. So it was really cool. I read the book, watched all 3 film adaptations, and really enjoyed it. All right, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. This is a classic Dick Van Dyke film. It's a fun movie. It's also based on an Ian Fleming novel. What a surprise. It's also produced by Albert Broccoli. What a surprise. I mean, Albert Broccoli was in the Ian Fleming game. So it was just kind of like we watched it while I was doing all this Bond reading and stuff. It's enjoyable. Really liked it. This Blu-ray is perfectly serviceable. It's pretty bare bones. It's got a lot of those early Blu-ray bonus features, like here's a driving game, and the driving game is super unresponsive. All right, The Way We Were, Barbra Streisand, Robert Redford. Rest in peace, Robert Redford. This was, my mom's been listening to Barbra Streisand's autobiography audiobook, and she was talking about this movie, and specifically about how there was stuff cut from the movie that the director didn't want cut, and so Barbara advocated for releasing a director's cut. And so this has the extended version on the 4K, and the Blu-ray disc have it on both. But she advocated for this and said, no, the director would have liked this to be included. Kind of neat little pamphlet there. And so she pushed to get this movie released in its full extended version, and I think that is super, super cool. All right, let's talk Disney. First things first, Thunderbolts Asterisk, which you can see there is the title. So this is the second Marvel movie of the year. Absolutely love this one. Beyond being a superhero movie about, Black Widow, Ghost, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent, Bucky Barnes, Congressman, and Bob, it's a movie about people looking for redemption. It's also a movie with heavily themes about, depression and mental health, and there's some really cool action sequences, but I think the core and heart of these characters really resonated with a lot of people, myself included, and I think it made for a very, very fun movie. And highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It gives you all the information you need in case you haven't seen the Black Widow movie, or Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. You get all the information you need just by watching the film, which I think is awesome. I love to see that. And the nice part is there was a bunch of bonus features talking about it. This is actually more bonus features than we've seen on recent Marvel films, but they really did a lot of practical shooting for this. They went to the second tallest building in the world. They did all these other crazy things that they could have done in CG, or they could have done in a studio, but decided not to give it a grounded feel, and I think that's super awesome. Highly recommended checking this out if you haven't. Really great movie. The hills are alive with the sound of 4K. So the 60th anniversary of Sound of Music has provided a brand new 4K, which isn't forced steelbook, which is weird because Disney's recent 4Ks have all been steelbooks. But Sound of Music instead got a Amory case 4K, nice slipcover. This contains all the bonus features from the Blu-ray editions of the movies, which means there are 2 Blu-ray discs. There is the movie plus the sing-along and the commentaries. And then there's disc 3, which has all of the bonus features, because this is a long movie, so you can't fit all the bonus features onto Blu-ray. It's a 174-minute movie. Basically, here you got your 4K disc, which has the movie, Then you've got your Blu-ray disc, which has the movie, and your Blu-ray bonus features. And from what I heard, unlike other recent 4Ks, the new 4K transfer was put onto the Blu-ray disc. I've heard that. I cannot confirm because I don't know this movie well enough to spot it. And then they have these cards. And what's cool is they gave you these postcards, which is, you know, scenes from the movie, which are presented quite well, and they are actually presented as postcards. Sometimes we get cards like this, and it's like, oh, it's a postcard. But it's like, no, it actually has the stuff in case you wanted to mail it. I wouldn't. But yeah, it's kind of neat. So I think that's pretty cool. And it's a great thing for my mom, because my mom is the intersection between movie fan and postcard collector. So, and also loves the sound of music. So this was like solid set, but really, really nice. Haven't had a chance to watch the entire movie yet, 174 minutes, but I will say, did check out the transfer. One of the best looking transfers I've seen in a while. This is a contender for one of the best releases of the year. Oh, my beloved Tron has come to 4K, and they are hard to get. Okay, so first things first, before we talk about the releases themselves, availability has been a big issue. From everything I've seen, there are more copies coming. People have been having trouble getting these. Part of the problem with that is the fact that Disney did not announce this until 2 weeks before they came out. Disney, you can announce things more than 2 weeks in advance. It allows retailers to do this thing called order more copies to meet demand. Yeah, pre-orders are selling out immediately a lot of places. Amazon got the biggest stock, but even they sold out. Some people's orders got delayed. There's more coming. But the demand was way higher than they anticipated, and there's almost like there's this thing that exists called pre-orders that would let you know that the demand was higher and you needed to print more. Anyways, that rant aside, let's talk about these releases. I'm going to talk about them in reverse order because I have less to say about Tron Legacy. So, first of all, Tron Legacy, absolutely stunning movie. What a visual achievement in so many ways. And a movie which a lot of people did not understand upon release. It's gotten a lot more love now than it did 15 years ago. It's really incredible. It also is like a game changer. It kind of created the Legacy sequel. I think that's where we get the name Legacy sequel, because Tron Legacy. And it also, like, you know, it pioneered de-aging technology to be used for a character for an entire movie. It also pioneered a lot of visual effects and things we use now pretty commonly, like the way that green screens and digital backdrops are used. It's really great. It's not a perfect movie by any means, neither Tron movie is, but it's a great film. Now, of course, this was a modern film produced in 2010, so this 4K is very impressive as it is an upgrade over the existing Blu-ray. There's the existing Blu-ray. Yeah, it's the same disc as we gotten before, but then we got our new 4K disc. Nice shot of Sam Flynn there. It is the same, you know, so it's a modern film. It's, you know, everything visual effects-wise was outputted into 2K, so it's not going to be a super huge upgrade. But I will say it is an upgrade. You can definitely tell if you have the right setup that is a higher resolution. You get a higher audio range in particular. The soundtrack and sound effect work amazing. Now, the thing is, the main disc itself, the 4K disc, doesn't have any bonus features on it, but all of the bonus features from the Blu-ray, which includes things like the Tron The Next Day short, it includes all the behind-the-scenes work, that is all still on the Blu-ray. The benefit of reusing the Blu-ray is that we didn't lose any bonus features. That's a huge benefit there. Also, I just noticed there is a hidden program behind that disc. So that is really nice. The other cool part is they reused the menu design from the Blu-ray on the 4K, so it doesn't have one of those still image menus, but actually an animated one, which I really do appreciate. This is an excellent release of a very cool movie, and so I do highly recommend it. If you are a fan of Tron Legacy, absolutely a really great thing. Also, if you're wondering, what's the Next Day short? Stay tuned, because I have a Tron viewing guide coming out in a couple days from publishing. It may already be out. You should check my channel. I have a big video about Tron coming up. You know, like I said, 2 days from upload of this, but if you're watching it in the future, it's coming. It's already out. So go check that out. But let's talk about the one that's astounding, Tron. So this film was shot on film, and it had its visual effects were some of the first ever CGI effects in cinema. Like for long-term stuff. There had been a couple shots here and there, but this was CGI environments, CGI vehicles, CGI models. This was the big movie that revolutionized visual effects in so many ways. And it is an iconic film for so many reasons. and the steelbook art is gorgeous. I love this piece in particular. This is amazing. Now, on top of that, the thing about this movie is that because of its age, it does have a couple things that, you know, could be improved on, right? So the Blu-ray transfer we had was nice, but it had kind of a fogginess to the overall visual look. But this new 4K was gone back to the original film negatives, rescanned, retouched, and cleaned up to absolute perfection. This is one of the best transfers I have ever seen. It is like night and day. I am astounded, and I am disappointed there is no bonus feature about the making of the 4K transfer. If you go on YouTube, they did a screening of the 4K, and there was one of the people that worked at Walt Disney's archive department that talks about working on the 4K. That's all we get because there's no new bonus features. That being said, because they reused the old disc, all the bonus features from there, like hours of stuff, are still on there, which is awesome. Plus, they reused the menu just like with Legacy. This transfer is so good, and I wish there was a way for me to present it on YouTube. I can't. It's just, you have to see it to believe it. They did update the version on Disney Plus to include the 4K, so you can see it in the 4K if you don't have this release. In addition to remastering and making everything look better, they also fixed some visual effects glitches. There was some characters that would disappear because the plates were misaligned or they didn't quite have it perfectly set up. So much like the Star Trek Motion Picture Director's Edition 4K, they actually went and fixed some visual effects errors that originally existed that wasn't intentional. And absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, also as a side note, because I got to remember this is a thing, Tron Legacy does have its IMAX shots in place. And you know, usually I'm not too worried about like, oh, the IMAX shots or the aspect ratio changes, but this movie uses it so effectively that I'm really, really glad it's there. But yeah, the IMAX shots are included on the 4K. You do get, let's take these parts off so you can see them. You do get the two movies there. I love the seamlessness, right? The 4K, the title, the two lead characters down there. I'm hoping Tron Ares has a similar steelbook because it kind of feels like that's kind of the whole point, right? Like, you know, you do these two. I mean, there's certainly the character lineup to do it again for Tron Ares, but like these are two of the best releases of the year. We've been wanting these for so long. We've been wanting a remaster, especially for Tron, for so long. So happy they came out, and I'm so glad they're so good. So let's talk classic TV on DVD. Yes, because older TV shows, they don't get Blu-rays that often, right? Kind of a bummer. So my mom has been wanting to watch some older shows and was asking like, hey, can we get the box set for Emergency? And so we got the box set for Emergency. Emergency is a TV series about emergency workers, paramedic units, actually helped pioneer the paramedic program and help get it running. A lot of TV shows would do that back in the day because TV had kind of an influence to get, you know, real world services. And so this show is accounts for a lot of that. This is an iconic show for a lot of people. It was a... who was the producer? Jack Webb. Jack Webb did Dragnet. Also did the next show we'll talk about. This contains all 6 seasons plus the 6 TV movies and the crossover episode with Adam 12 in one of the dumbest cases I've ever seen. I hate this one. This sucks. This is like 3 discs per spindle. The seasons are at least color coordinated, so you got that going on. But like, my goodness, I do not appreciate. Oh god, there they go again. The discs constantly fall off of these, and they're DVDs, so they can get scratched easily and stuff. This thing's a mess, man. It really sucks that like they only released this show on DVD, and there isn't like a Blu-ray option in a better case style. Oh wait, the bums at Universal did that. So we bought this at the top of the summer, and this came out at the end of the summer. I'm just gonna toss this in the trash. Anyways, this is a much better set. First of all, look at the cases. Look at it. It's beautiful. All right, so this got no fanfare. It just sort of happened. It's a manufactured on-demand release through Amazon, which means I think you only get through Amazon and Groove, maybe a couple other places. We got it on Amazon because, you know, once I found out it existed, yeah. So my mom was very happy about this. She was watching the show. She hadn't quite finished it yet. So she got to watch the last 2 seasons in Blu-ray, but you can see we've got, you know, 5 discs or 3 discs. How is that? 3 discs for season 1, so shorter season, 5 discs for season 2. in a nice, palette case where they're not stacked on top of each other. Here's the season 3 and 4 case. So very, very happy that they put this out. Would have liked if they had let us know like a couple months sooner, so I didn't buy the DVD set in the same Blu-ray haul where we got the Blu-ray. Now the thing was that was kind of the deciding vote. My mom was like, oh, well, the DVD's not that bad. I can live with it. We don't need to rebuy it. And I'm like, yeah, show me the DVD. I nearly threw up from how awful the DVD quality was. It looked terrible. So yeah, I was like, nope, we're buying the Blu-ray. So we got the Blu-ray. Also, the TV movies are here on, I think it's just 2 discs. Yeah, it's 2 discs in the back here, which is nice and simple. I basically threw up at how bad the quality was on the DVD. That was what they had to work with at the time. It looks like VHS masters. It was disgusting. The Blu-ray is gorgeous. HD resolution, high quality. My mom and I did a back and forth on one of the episodes. We looked at the DVD. I barfed. They looked at the Blu-ray. I cheered. Incredible. It also still does include the crossover episode with Adam 12, but that is still in SD quality, not in Blu-ray quality, because they haven't put Adam 12 out on Blu-ray. Wonder what that could be. Anyways, this is great. If you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of emergency rescue shows, definitely check it out. This set is awesome. Okay, so hopefully the same thing happens to Adam 12. Look at this. So Adam 12's in a weird spot. First of all, no one knows if where the rights lie, because if you remember from the previous Blu-ray haul, we had Adam 12 season 1, which my mom got to meet Kent McCord, who was in the series. So season 1, let's check it out here. Look at that spine inconsistency. Season 1 was released by Universal. Seasons 2 through 7 were released by Shout Factory. Also, for some reason, Shout Factory had it where it was like for DVD, and the DVD logo is below the Shout logo, but then they just switched it to the DVD logo being at the top. I don't know, whatever, it's weird. So there's no complete set for Adam 12. That's why we have all these season sets, but you can see Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, final season. Police procedural show, same producer as Emergency, same universe even, because the characters appear in each other's shows. It is just kind of wild that that Emergency dropped out of nowhere. Like, they're just like, boom, and it was like available like 2 weeks later, I think. Or so, it was a month later, maybe. Missed the announcement even. Didn't even know until it came out, and I saw a review of it, and I was like, what? So, yeah, you never know what might happen in the world of classic TV. But Barney Miller's probably not getting a DVD. We've been getting a lot of Blu-rays from Universal. This was also a Shout Factory release, which is all 8 seasons. So you got 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. 168 episodes. This is, obviously we haven't opened it yet. My dad wanted this. We didn't crack it open, but he wanted to watch this show. We've been watching Night Court together, so he wanted to get this series. It's a Sony series released through Shout Factory, and because Sony and their releases of TV shows, not so consistent. Not expecting this one to get a Blu-ray. Also because, hour-long TV dramas, those can get Blu-rays. I don't see many sitcoms getting Blu-rays unless you're Friends. And then to round out the TV department, boom, Knight Rider on 4K. This cover kind of sucks. What the hell is going on with Hasselhoff in that car? Don't look right. But this is the complete Knight Rider on 4K, and this is a good upgrade from the Mill Creek Blu-ray, which had no behind-the-scenes bonus feature stuff. This has a bunch of bonus features, which carry from the DVD. The entire series is presented on 4K, though I will say, much like the Batman Beyond Blu-ray, you can kind of tell when they didn't have the original film master if you're looking for it. But I guess because they had enough of the series to put out on 4K, they just decided to do it. And honestly, pretty cool. It's not a long enough show to worry about. If it was longer, it would have been, like if it was a Murder, She Wrote, they couldn't do Murder, She Wrote on 4K. That would be like $1,500. So it's nice that they put this out. I think it's an upgrade over the Mill Creek set that had no bonus features, because it's got stuff. It's got the Knight Rider 2000 TV movie, interviews and all that. It's nice. It's a nice set. By no means perfect, but I think it honestly does its job. So when I was catching up on Doctor Who and I got tired of watching HBO Max ads, I picked up all the 13th Doctor stuff on the volumes, because the only complete collection for the 13th Doctor, the Jodie Whittaker years, was a box set that contained all the other Doctor stuff. And, it just, was sold out by the time I got into Doctor Who, so it was like, okay, I guess I have to buy all these volumes. So, of course, the BBC puts out a complete set, like, I don't know, months after I did not need it. They could have just done this back when the other set came out. Anyways, frustratingly, I have all of this that I don't need. But they did put out a complete Jodie Whittaker's set that was so much cheaper. The sad part is that even if I bought it at release, this was cheaper than what I spent on just Series 12. So, yeah. Anyways, the point I'm going to make, though, is that I got it on a Prime deal for like less than $30, which was perfect, because this is a lot more consistent to, kind of what it is. Now, there is 2 new bonus features, creating characters with Ray Holman and creating music of Series 12, which were originally digital exclusives that are now added into a Blu-ray disc. So it's not completely reused from the existing discs, but it's only 2 bonus features. If you have the others, you don't really need this. But then, with how cheap it got, oh, I like that shot. It's cute. The nice part is that, if you don't necessarily need this if you already had the previous stuff. But it does have like the nice, book style packaging. You've got, the pictures of the characters on the discs there. And you, a nice Fugitive Doctor, love Fugitive Doctor. Got all that going on there. And it's interesting. There's a lot more discs per page than the previous sets that I'm about to dig out here. And you see, nice little collage. So the reason why this is sort of an ironic twist of fate is that I have a friend, Spin Dash, who bought that set that had all the modern Doctor Who, 9 through 13, because it's the best way to get a 13 complete set. And so he sold me the Peter Capaldi and Matt Smith box sets, which are in book-style packaging and slipcovers, and they don't exactly line up to one another, but they line up together for this era. Also, the slipcover is a little bit too big. There's like a quarter-inch gap here. So he had already sold me these sets because he'd gotten that other one, which honestly, those are more shelf-friendly than these. These are kind of I don't know where to necessarily put these on a shelf. They kind of have to exist in their own space, but he had done that. And then, so when the announcement of this set came out, I was just like, oh, and I had already spent all this money on these. And he was like, oh, dang, I already sold those to Soundout. So BBC just pissed both of us off by putting this set out way after way after they should have actually done it. All right, let's talk about some anime and tokusatsu that I didn't review on their own, starting with imports. One of the last things I imported before a whole bunch of shipping things happen that doesn't make me want to import anymore. I got the Don Brothers vs. Zenkaiger Blu-ray. This is the crossover movie between Don Brothers and Zenkaiger. It came with this big old photo book of both casts in the movie. That's super cool, and it's not got any English subtitles. It's a Japanese Blu-ray made for the Japanese market. I didn't buy it for this. I bought it for this. I got the sword. I got the cool sword with the spinny thing and all the sound effects, and it came with a gear that I didn't have. And it just happened to include this. But because it included this, it qualified on Sarugia's bulk buying Blu-ray sale. So it was like, I think I paid like less than $30 for the sword, the gear, and the photo book and Blu-ray. The other thing I ordered with that, because you had to buy 2 Blu-rays to make the sale work, was the Gundam Seed Freedom limited edition Blu-ray set. I got this secondhand. Crunchyroll has not been doing anything good with Blu-rays for Gundam. After Witch from Mercury and Doan's Island a year ago, we've heard absolutely nothing. So I kind of lost all faith that they would release Gundam Seed Freedom over here in any way. So I thought, okay, well, the Japanese release has English subtitles on it, so guess what I'm buying? See, we got Kira and Lacus on the front, the mobile suits on the back. It's a pretty nice set. You've got kind of like this cool palette. There's all these booklets. This thing comes with a stupid amount of booklets, honestly. I say stupid in like a positive light, but you can kind of see you got the different characters on this sort of palette thing like that. Because I'm not like the biggest Seed fan, but I do have the limited editions for the show, the Nozomi releases, and I really liked Seed Freedom. I think it was my favorite Seed thing. So we got the movie here, which is on its Blu-ray disc. I opted for the Blu-ray instead of the 4K just so I can get all this other cool stuff. There's 2 bonus features discs, and then there is an audio drama CD included, which is cool. The only thing that's subtitled is the movie itself, but it does have English subs, so if you're looking to import, because Crunchyroll ain't giving us anything, it's worth it for that. Here's a little program booklet like the one you'd get in the theater, which is really cool. The character poll, popularity poll results there. A side story novels booklet, and then a key animation booklet guide, which is some storyboards and key animation shots. So pretty awesome. Pretty happy with it. I mean, I just wanted to get Seed Freedom. I got this like for $40, which honestly like wasn't too bad. And yeah, so I got my Seed Freedom covered there. Speaking of Crunchyroll, here's a weird one, Chainsaw Man. So Chainsaw Man is one of Crunchyroll's big popular shows. They got a movie coming up that they're distributing. Crunchyroll streamed it, simulcasted it, dubbed it, and then they released it on Blu-ray in the UK. Crunchyroll UK released it in Blu-ray, and then almost 2 years later, we got a Blu-ray in North America from Viz. What the heck happened here? Crunchyroll had already made a Region AB coded Blu-ray disc set for the UK that would have just released Chainsaw Man. They could have just released the same exact release. Change the cover art, you're done. Instead, they sub-licensed it to Viz. No idea why. Honestly, might be a better release because of Viz, though. It's got a neat animated menu, and there's 2 editions. There was an overly overpriced, a limited edition I didn't appreciate. It's like $80, and all it had was like a booklet in a fancy box. And then there was this steelbook, which was exclusive to Walmart, and was $40, and I was like, that looks better, and I like it better. So you got Chainsaw Man. It's interesting, it says Volume 1, because this is Season 1. But I wonder if it's because the Rize arc movie is going to be called Volume 2, which would make some sense, honestly. I do like all the gag things on the back here about, you know, being careful about using your chainsaw dog. But underneath this, you've got matte finish steelbook with Chainsaw Man's head there. You got everybody in the movie theater inside. And you got disc 1 and you got disc 2. It's pretty bare bones. You don't even get like creditless openings and endings. I think you just get like a promo, and it's just the series. But you know, it's a nice release for what it is. All right, City Hunter the movie Angel Dust, which I said on a live stream. Oh, I still need to buy Angel Dust. I need to always clarify. I need to buy City Hunter the movie Angel Dust. So City Hunter is a pretty classic manga and anime series from the 80s. I really enjoy it. Discotek Media released every City Hunter movie and TV series on Blu-ray, and so naturally, the most recent one was released by All That Anime. Yeah, weird how that happens. It's happened a few times. Like, here's Discotek. They've released all the Lupin, except for the 2 most recent things. Those are Sentai Filmworks. Anyways, this movie didn't get like a streaming release, so I'm not exactly sure why All the Anime got to release it instead of Discotek, considering Discotek did literally everything else. All this has for a bonus is clean opening and ending trailers and PVs. And then the movie itself, does it have an English dub? Or is it just in... No, there's no English dub. It's the audio's in Japanese, French, Italian, and German. And then subtitles are English, French, Italian, and German. Yeah, no English dub. It was produced by Anime Limited, or All That Anime. Anime Limited's a brand of All That Anime, which is a UK company. And then Shout Factory distributed it for North America. And so that's why I did pick it up. And then back when Target Circle Week Summer Edition, picked up some One Piece stuff. So I've been kind of trying to figure out what to do about One Piece because Volume 12 is completely out of print, and Crunchyroll seems to not give a crap to reprint anything, which sucks. But I did get Volume 10. It was a gap filler. It's the Frankie volume. This has episodes 230 to 252. And plus behind-the-scenes exclusives with the cast and crew in addition to episode commentaries. It's in this style case because I got it from Target, I guess. But I did decide to finish up the movies and TV specials that are new footage. There's a bunch of One Piece movies and specials that are recaps of arcs in the series. I don't really know if I need those, especially because we don't have all the movies and TV shows released by Funimation or Crunchyroll. There's a bunch missing, so why do I need to have a completionism? If they're not going to release everything, then I don't need to be buying these compilation specials, right? So I stuck to the new stuff, and I'm pretty covered now. So we got Strong World here. Strong World was written by Oda, which was nice because he is, the creator. And so Strong World is there. It's got some cool backstory stuff, I believe. Then we have One Piece Stampede, which this is the new Crunchyroll reprint, but it's the same exact Funimation disc. Like, you boot it up and you still get the Funimation disc. So I've got all the movies that are new stories. Actually, I have all the movies because I do have the Alabasta movies. So I have all the movies now that they have released because they've only released like 6 of the 13. Heart of Gold TV special is a prequel to Film Gold. So this is all new stuff. The only extras are trailers. Once again, it is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack. There you go. Pretty nice and easy. So that's good to have. One Piece 3D2Y, which is the TV special that a lot of people regard as, it could be canon. Bonus features are trailers. And this is basically takes place during the time skip, so it kind of fills in some stuff there, which is kind of neat, because the manga kind of, skips over the time skip, doesn't really backtrack. And then Adventure of Nebulandia, which is a TV special involving the Foxy Pirates. There's not even, it doesn't even list, special features. It's got an interview with Brooke, and it is English dubbed as well. All these are dubbed, and yeah, it kind of sucks that we can't get the rest of the movies and specials for how popular One Piece is. But yeah, I've got all the ones that are new stories. There's a couple, it's like, oh, here's a special recapping Skypiea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to buy that again. If I'm buying the series, I don't really need these compilation specials. So, and I think that's it. I think that's the Blu-ray haul for this quarter. I talked way too long. I'm not going to hold you any longer. This was a fun haul, if a little more, like, I don't know, random and eclectic than usual. I just felt like we were all over the place, but at the same time, isn't that the whole fun of collecting? So on that note, stay tuned for future Blu-ray videos. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss out. If you didn't hit the like button already, please hit the like button for the sake of doing all this all the time. I appreciate it. Helps me out. Also, leave any comments, questions. Tell me your favorite thing you picked up this last quarter, or your favorite thing of mine that you thought. Join our Discord server. Come join, talk about Blu-rays, all kinds of good stuff. Link below. If you want to help support the channel directly, you can join as a channel member, get perks like early access to videos and special shout-outs. Like some special shout-outs to our channel members. Special shout-out to all of our channel members, including Captain Tier, Spin-54, MasterBed95, Forever1000, Super Shaddix Boom, Mr. Smelly Potato, James Abel, Jamie's World, Veloquince, Rabbitman, Daniel Evans, Zizu426, Common Pikachu, John Troutman, Spidey Brian, Fernando Perea, Smotlock, Lord Tatman, Henry G, Caro, Gang1, Sebastian Travez. Thank you all for your support, both viewers and members alike. If you so wish, I'm on social media on Letterboxd and Blue Sky at Soundout12. You can also check out my awesome graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for entertainment, interviews, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, can't wait for the next haul.